planting seeds, a cause, an idea, a passion. When I want to plant my seeds, I have to wait for them to mature and develop on the plant. It takes patience, it takes time. I take some of the seeds, I dry them, I clean them, I take out all of the bad seeds and I throw them away. Some of the seeds I leave on the plant because I want the wind to blow them. And you'll see on some of the seeds they've got that white fluffy stuff and the wind blows them where it may. The seeds land in different places. Some of the places where the seeds land are ready to nurture that seed and it grows into a beautiful plant. Some of the places where the seeds land are rocky, too hot, too cold, not enough water, and they try and grow, but they die. Always, I'm careful where I get my seeds from. I take them from the biggest, healthiest, strongest plants that have learned to adapt to their space and their environment. If somebody else is giving me seeds, I check with them and I make sure, are they open pollinated seeds that will grow? I can catch the seeds from, I can plant them again and grow and continue to do that. Or are they hybrid seeds that look amazing the first time you plant them, but when you catch the seeds of them and you try and regrow them, they come out all wonky and warped, and you have to keep going back and rebuying seeds. Are they genetically modified seeds that have been corrupted and tainted? Seeds blowing in the wind. Ideas, experiences that we've had, people that we've met. My granny used to come and stand over us when we ate, and she would scoop her finger around the edge of the plate and shove it in her mouth so that we wouldn't waste one single drop of precious food. She would wear a garlic necklace around her neck, plant herbs, stuff our faces with herbs. We never got sick. She would rant about people using those aerosol spray cans, and she walked everywhere. This was 30, 40 years ago. She had a bag, and she took it with her wherever she went. And she collected plastic bags, and she put them inside. She even rummaged in people's dustbins to take the plastic bags out, because she didn't want them blowing away. And then she would cut the bags up, and she would make them into these amazing plastic slippers or handbags. And whenever you saw my granny, she was walking, she still does that. She had a long trail of plastic bags, and she shuffles with the plastic bags, and if a visitor came, then she would walk in with a piece of paper and quickly draw the shape of their foot. And then she would go out, and a few days later, she would hand them plastic slippers. And if they were lucky, there would be a flower on the slippers, a yellow flower, because she found a yellow plastic bag. These were all seeds that were blowing in the wind that landed inside my heart and my mind and my soul, which was ready to nurture those seeds. When the seeds are about 6 days old, they come out of the ground and they need extra care. They need wholesome compost and worm tea. They need sunshine. They need water. They need to be nurtured. They need to be looked after. During this phase, if you look after the plants, they get strong roots. As with the children and the people that I've seen in my life that have had seeds planted in their hearts, they've needed to be nurtured and given the tools to be able to take that excitement or that idea and put it into an action. And I found with children, they have this clarity about them and this stubbornness and this fierceness that when they hear an injustice, they suddenly turn into these warriors and they want to protect, as with my own, they want to protect the animals and the people. And I know that there are parents out there who curse me in the night because their children go shopping with them now and read every single label, and if there are any GMOs, they refuse to eat them. The whole diet in the family has changed. Or they take the seeds that have been given to them at one of our workshops, or the seedlings, and they go home and they dig up the whole rose bed and they plant spinach instead. Currently, and in the last 20 years in South Africa, we have been, and not only myself, me more recently, people have been fighting against the corruption and the poison of genetically modified crops. Now, there are the RNA interference GMOs that are being unleashed into Africa, which turn off genes and have been found to turn off a gene in the mammal that we're fighting against. And in the last few months, the laws, the seed laws that are about to be passed that promise to take our freedom of our seeds and away from us and give them to those big corporations where we can't swap and share and give seeds away as we did in the past. So there have been public hearings that have been held all around South Africa, but they weren't advertised very well. So not many people heard about them and could go and speak out for seed freedom. But the amazing activist community that we have in this country found out where the public hearings were, and we went to some of them. And this is the one in the Eastern Cape. I went with my dad and my 13-year-old daughter, that is her, and 3 other farmers who came in a big room full of government officials, and we had an opportunity to speak. And Ruth is her name. Over the last few years, she's been coming with me to marches that I've been doing and workshops, and a seed was planted in her heart. And she's so stubborn and passionate about human rights. She came with me and she sat and listened quietly. And at the end, she stood up and she said, she summarized the day in her fierce, stubborn way, calmly and respectfully. And she ended by saying, as you all know, he who owns the seed owns the world. There was dead silence. And they said, okay, please, we're going to take a vote. Could you put your hands up if you want these bills to pass as they are? Nobody put their hand up. Oh, wait, there's one person. Excuse me, sir, is your hand? Oh, you're stretching. Oh, okay, no one. But these were 5 people that were representing the millions of people in South Africa, and there were more public hearings where other people went to, and amazing places like the African Center for Biodiversity who gave workshops to help explain the bills to our farmers so that they could represent. It wasn't enough, but we've been asking and we've been fighting for them to give us another opportunity to go and speak for our seed rights. And just yesterday, I heard that they granted us another public hearing in PE. We don't have to drive for 3 hours like I did, and in Umtata and in Queenstown. So we're having another opportunity. This boy, his father is John Zera. He's an amazing permaculturist and organic farmer in South Africa. That's his boy with his uncle. A seed was planted in that boy's heart. He's been nurtured by his family and taught how to grow food. And he will never be hungry. He will always be able to feed himself and other people. And he will always have freedom, in a sense. When I plant my veggies, I always intercrop. So I put herbs and other kinds of plants with them. Sometimes they're taller plants and they give them enough shade. There are things like borage that bring bees so they can pollinate, and plants like garlic that deter pests, and nasturtiums which let the pests eat them so that they save the food crops, and green manure that protects the soil and gives it nitrogen. All of this creates diversity. I don't have to do anything with my plants after that except pray for rain. They grow strong, beautiful, and healthy. I can leave them. And it's like that with people, in our cultures, with various different types of people that come together, create strength and diversity. As in the activist world that I'm privileged enough to be a part in, there's so many different kinds of people that come together that creates this diversity, which creates strength. There are people that are like those nasturtiums that let the pests eat them so that they can keep the food crop safe. The people that are in the ground and planting, they're the lawyers, they are the doctors and the researchers and the scientists, and then they're the people on the ground who are creating the change. Grassroots. Diversity creates strength. But on the farms, sometimes you see monocrops. That's when you take one plant and you just fill the whole farm with one plant. And they don't want weeds because the weeds get in the way of the tractors, so they would spray herbicides on them. And the herbicides disrupt the soil and kill the microbes in the soil, so they've got to feed chemical fertilizers to try and fix that problem. And because there's no diversity, the pests come in and have a field day, excuse the pun. And then they've got to bring in pesticides. So these plants cannot live on their own. They need so much babying. They need so much feeding. They need so many resources, so much water. They look like other plants. The nutritional value is not the same because there's no diversity. And then we eat the food, and we nourish our bodies, or we put them in a vase like I do because I just think they're so beautiful. And then we wait for the flowers to come, and then we catch the seeds and we start again. So I want to just give you an example of how much abundance is created by one seed. These are carrots. The carrot, one carrot seed. The flower is about that big. You can't really see on there, but it's big. There are hundreds of seeds inside a carrot. But for argument's sake, I'm going to work with 200. Probably way more than that. 200. I have one plant. After 8 weeks, I catch the seeds. I have 200 seeds. I plant those 200 seeds, and I catch them again. I have 40,000. Another 2 months, I plant them again, and I have 8 million. I plant them again, and I have 1,600 million seeds. Over 4 seasons, that's 1 year from one seed. So there are 3 things I want to say about that. 1, why are there hungry people in our country when seeds are in abundance? And 2, why are we buying seeds? Why are we still buying seeds? What happened to the art of seed saving? And it is a skill and an art that is not hard to learn. I learned it. I don't know everything about it, but anyone can do it. And the last thing is, when you buy the seed, they cost R1 each, okay? 1,600 million seeds equals 1,600 million rands from one seed. It makes you realize why it's so sought after to own seeds. 20 years ago, more than 20 years ago, my husband-to-be said to me, Rushka, do you know one day you're going to be buying water? And I looked at him and I laughed in his face. I said, what? Are you crazy? Buy water? That's the stupidest thing I've ever heard in my life. If you're under 30, this is a norm for you, buying water, in a plastic bottle still. But then it was so foreign, I couldn't grasp that. You can imagine my shock and horror the day that I heard that a person can own a seed. Not just the genetically modified corrupted seed that's patented, but one of our seeds. You can imagine my shock and horror on that day. And over all the years, and there haven't been many compared to lots of people that have been fighting against GMOs and their poisons and the way that they have just destroyed our environments and our people, always in the back of my heart, I felt calm because I knew, you know what, you can have those seeds. I don't want them, they're corrupted. My seeds are safe. Our seeds are safe. But with these new laws coming out, they're going to be able to own those seeds too. Sometimes I was fighting, and I have been on my own. Sometimes an orphan with a small army. I've turned myself inside out and upside down. People have told me I'm a nut and that I'm extreme. But never before, in all the years that I have been fighting against GMOs and their toxic herbicides, have I seen so many people from all walks of life come together about this freedom of our seeds. So many different people, the diversity is unbelievable, and the outrage that we are going to be told what we can and can't do with our own seeds and possibly be a criminal for exchanging them. Rusisiswa is my seed guardian sister. She, at the last gathering we went to, she came walking towards me and she was holding her hands to her heart, and she opened her hands, and inside her hands were these beautiful mealie seeds. It's a picture of them. Now, if you know the history of South Africa, more than 80% of our maize is genetically modified, and they contaminate other maize. So to find non-genetically modified maize is very rare. She protects them with her life. Sometimes people say, why do you call her guardian? Oh, wow, you must see this woman. You'll understand. She protects these seeds. She gave them to me, and we were in a seedy place with seedy people like me who love seeds. And they all wanted some, and she slapped their hands away. She's like, no, I'm giving these to Rushka. I wanted to multiply them. You're going to all get yours, don't worry. And then I had my seeds there, and while I was talking, I was watching someone hand the seeds out, and they collected them and just put them in a bag and put them in their pocket, and it just looked so precious, and it really touched me. When I was going home, as I got out the car, I said to my boy child, wow, Joey, the seed guardian just gave me her precious seeds. And before I could sit down, he had taken some of them and planted them, and he was standing watching them with his worm tea. Mommy, I'm going to protect these seeds with my life. I'm going to multiply these seeds. I'm going to give them to my friends, and they're going to multiply them. Now, he's 11 years old, and he can see. The other day, somebody called me out of the blue, messaged me and said, Rushka, I want to come and give you some seeds. Now, we live in South Africa. You know, you can't just invite anyone over. So I said, but I heard the word seeds. So I said, let's go to, and you can meet me in a public place. And this guy pitched up. He's a gypsy. His name's Mark. I've never seen him before. He came with his box, and he started unpacking. And he just filled his whole table with these seeds. They were wrapped up in different handwritings, and he started putting them in bags for me. And some of them I've never seen in my life. Some of the names I've never heard of. You know, 90% of our seed varieties are extinct today. I've never heard of them. And he said, Rushka, I can't plant these seeds, but I go and I collect them from people, and I want to give them to you because you can plant them, and I want you to multiply them. And that really touched me deeply. These are the kind of people that are in our country. Aviwe, she's this powerful warrior woman, and she carries her corn with her maize varieties with her wherever she goes, in her arms. And they've been hand-down heritage seeds. She even puts them on airplanes. I don't know how she manages to get that big onto airplanes. And when she comes and she talks, she always takes them with her. And the last time I saw her, she got up and she always sings for seed freedom, for power, bringing the power back to the people. And she starts singing, and everyone was sitting quietly singing with her. She stood up and she looked at them and she said, get up. You can't fight for seed freedom when you're sitting down. You can't fight for seed freedom when you are sitting down. I've got something that I want to give you. These are my babies, some of my babies. And I'm going to give each of you, you can come fetch from me later, but some of you now, I'm going to give each of you 2 seeds. One seed is for you to plant and multiply into 1,600 million seeds. And the other one is for you to give to your child or to any child that you see. And I want you to tell them the story from your perspective. And just give them the seed and see what they do with it. And if the bills go through and we do not continue to fight for seed freedom, I could be arrested for just doing what I've done. We're creating a wall of faces of people who are willing to take words and put them into action for seed freedom and put their face to it so that they can make a declaration for seed freedom. An action of seed freedom, growing seeds, sharing seeds, helping with the seed bulls that are coming out, signing the open letters that we need. And so that the people in the generations to come can look back at the faces of their ancestors and say, those are the people that fought for seed freedom. Who is willing to put these words into an action and their face to the words with me? Thank you.